Okay. Is it working? Yes. Good. Okay. So, hi. I bet you want my tagline, don't you? I bet you do. So I'm going to say it. But also first, do you hear them kids in the background? That's because this is real. This is raw. This is real life. We got kids.
Yep.
All right. So what if being unapologetically ourselves is exactly what sets someone else free? This is Melinda, your host of Unapologetically Yours, and I am here with
Morgan.
All right. Remember, yes, you can have another one. Now, go into the other room and don't come back. Okay, so one of my other podcasts, I talked about Morgan, and I promised you we would get together, and here we are. It is very impromptu, and I'm just going to let her jump on in and say something. Okay. This is unscripted.
So, yeah, it was really funny because we were at a trampoline park, and I said, okay, GPS, Apple Maps, take me home. And it actually started taking me to our old neighborhood, which is where Melinda lives. And I'm like, okay, this is just meant to be. We're supposed to do this podcast today. So I called her. I was like, hey, are you free? Like, I know it's last minute. I'm about to be turning into the neighborhood. And she was free. So here we are.
Here we are. Yay. And so we're going to publish this on Monday because I also told y'all that we were going to be doing monthly Mondays with Morgan and Melinda. Technically, it's Friday?
I don't even know what day.
It's Friday.
Friday.
Yeah. It's Friday. So I probably have, you can sense it if you are, I don't know, if you understand energy, you'll see like I'm very heightened. Because I'm very excited. I'm so pumped. Oh!
Yeah, no, it's like, it was surreal, like, pulling back into the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Like, because the last time I was here was when we were moving, and just, months prior, my mom had passed away, and she lived in the neighborhood as well. So it was like, Corbin's like, I can't believe we're back. And so, yeah, we're both super excited to be here right now. So
now, one thing that we talked about is that we're just gonna go into this. There's no prompting, there's no scripts. I did write two things down though when I first decided to do something with Morgan, and that was the year mark of her mom going into the hospital. So I know we'll possibly touch on her mom, who was my direct neighbor, and then the other phrase I have in here is permission to be happy. And I think, Morgan, your mom is here, like spiritually, energetically, and she is so proud of you and is loving you so hard and is happy to see that you are, in fact, giving yourself permission to be happy. And that doesn't take away from the grief that you experience, whether it's every day or every week or whatever, every hour. But I'm so happy to see you as a vibrant being with life still here and present to give with your son and with your family.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I know I don't even need to give you permission. You've given yourself permission.
Yeah, no, it's, grief is something that we both have in common. So it's just like, sometimes when you have those happy moments, you're like, oh my gosh, I wish, my loved one was here. For me, it's my mom and my dad. So you wish they were here, but then you're like, for me, I'm like, my parents would want me to be happy and live my life to the fullest. And so just giving myself that permission to be happy, even though things aren't what, I expected life to look like as a 28-year-old woman without my parents. Mm-hmm. So, just trying to makes you appreciate life more and, not take those little things for granted, like those little moments. So.
Definitely. So I wanted to just jump on and hit record because I didn't want to waste any of our conversation, not being on file or on record, right? So one of the things that you and I talked about that I wanted to have you on the podcast for was to tell me more about your job, the outreach, and bringing awareness to it.
Yeah. So, I know we started talking a little bit about it on the phone, but now I'm like, you're like, okay, wait, stop right there. We need to talk about this on the podcast, because I had called her to like tell her how awesome that was that she was starting a podcast. For my job, basically, a little bit of my background, I'll go ahead and start with that. So actually, it'll be 5 years since I graduated nursing school in October of 2000. Wait, hold on. It'll be 5 years since I graduated nursing school in October. Okay. So this October. So I started out, the reason why I got into nursing was because I became a mom to Corbin when I was 19 years old. And that was scary. I worked in retail making $9.50 an hour. And my husband now, he didn't make much more than me. So that was hard. We were both young, and you have to grow up fast. But for me, when I had my experience in the hospital with postpartum preeclampsia, I was treated so much differently because of my age. No one told me like what was going on, why interventions were happening, and then also I couldn't bring my newborn baby to the hospital with me when I was readmitted. So I was in the step-down ICU alone without my newborn baby. I had to stop breastfeeding because I didn't have my baby and no one helped me with pumping. So I was like, it was a mess. And I feel like that kind of, it was a CNA who came in and, she prayed with me, and she was like, everything, like, you're not supposed to tell a patient who's in the ICU everything's going to be okay. But essentially that's what she told me. And so that kind of changed like the trajectory of like what I wanted to do for a career. Originally I wanted to do something with fashion merchandising, but I just felt like my purpose was to help new moms and babies. So then I went into do my prerequisites at community college, and from there it took me about, I guess, maybe almost 5 years to actually graduate as a nurse. So it did take me a little bit longer, but with a newborn and trying to work a little bit too, that took me some time. But they always say, I forget the saying, it's like sometimes the longer route, I don't know what is the saying, like enjoy the view or something when you're driving. I don't know, like cut that part out. I don't know what the saying is.
Me neither, but I think things happen in the timing that they're supposed to,
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't know, we don't recognize, and we can be critical of ourselves or critical about how it's going, but when you're looking at it after the fact, you see how all of these things were in alignment with where you were supposed to be at a particular time. And everybody has their own journey, and so however long nursing school is, quote, supposed to be, it's different for everybody, and it can be, and that's okay. And like you said, you were raising a brand new baby. And I am sorry to hear, and at the same time not surprised to hear, that you didn't fully get the support that you should have got as a new mom, especially with a newborn. My best friend's mom was young when she had her, and I don't know if it was one of those scared straight type things, but they were really nasty to her, and she decided, I'm not having any more kids. But she was just really mistreated. For me, I wound up in the hospital after Khalil, my second born. So I was in the hospital 3 days because I had a C-section, and when I came home with him, every time I laid down and rested, it felt like I couldn't breathe. And it was suggested, well, maybe it's just anxiety, which I have battled with in the past, but I said, nope, I'm just going to take myself to the emergency room. And they wound up diagnosing me with cardiomyopathy.
Oh my gosh.
And
that's scary.
yeah, there's extra fluid around my heart and lungs or whatever. I was swelling. And he was my second born. And I know, so 2 things that I experienced. One with him is I was a mom for a second time. So I already knew I did want to nurse, and I knew that I needed to pump. But I've had with my firstborn, because he didn't eat right away, they tried to push me to not nurse and to not breastfeed. And I was insistent. And so I did it. But I had kind of like that information and that know-how. My mom, when she had me, she had issues with, trigger warning, I'm going to say the word breasts. She had torn nipples or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Whatever, bleeding, whatever, cracked nipples. Yeah. I said it, y'all. Leave this
I'm
podcast.
An OB nurse, so
there we
we're
go.
going to
Yes.
be talking a lot more about different
and lactation,
words.
yes. And sometimes you have to squeeze the breast to get the milk out. Anyway, whatever. I told y'all raw, real. But my mother was not told the steps to have her heal and to try to continue nursing. And so I didn't have that privilege as a baby, that thing that my mom wanted to do. So I'm sorry that they ultimately took that away from you, and potentially because of judgment, because of your age, etc. And it's very unfortunate that happens, but I'm glad that you decided, with the experience that you had with the CNA, who did bring positivity, did bring love, did give you reassurance as well that everything was going to be okay, and how that changed your trajectory of your career. And now you are the face of that position to help women, to help moms. It's so beautiful. Luckily for me, in my case with Kalel, I was pumping. I brought my pump with me. He too couldn't come to the hospital. I was in like the heart wing of what the hospital on Martin Luther King.
Yeah, I know which one.
St. Joseph.
St. Joe's,
yeah. And so there's a whole bunch of old people there, a whole bunch of sick people there, and they're like, we're not going to let you bring your baby here. And my in-laws, I think they were in town. They just flew into town. And so they were loving life as new grandbabies with a brand new 3-4 day old baby. And I would pump, and they would come to the hospital. They would get the milk, and then I'd pump some more, and they'd send it back. And so luckily Kalel was able to, do all that. And anyway, it's not about me.
It's like I appreciate you sharing that, because it's like crazy how different experiences, they could just differ so much when it comes to postpartum complications, like in the treatment you get. And so that kind of just inspired me to want to work with moms and babies. And I've always been like interested in science and like how the body works. I love that stuff. But at first, when I was like considering being a nurse, it's funny. I was like, well, I'm scared of like inserting an IV. Yeah. And like that's the one thing that was like holding me back for a second. And like, I forget, I was like talking to someone, and they're like, if that's the only thing, like, just like, you're gonna be fine. Like, once you do it a bunch of times, like, and to this day, I'm gonna be honest, I am not the best with IVs. Okay. But we'll get to what I do now later on. But to start out, like, I was like, I want to work in labor and delivery. I'm not going to do anything else in nursing. All my instructors, they said, no, you've got to start out in med-surg. I'm like, but I don't want to do med-surg. I became a nurse to work with moms and babies. So I did start in labor and delivery. It took me 6 months after I graduated to land that job, and I did a lot of different interviews. I did at least 10 interviews for, some of them I actually did like a med-surg interviews, but then I was like, I can't do this. No, like, I'm waiting for, but the thing is, I feel like the interviews did help me, prepare for my interview for the actual labor and delivery job. Kids in the background, this is real life right now. So, then I finally landed that job 6 months after I graduated, and it's funny because I started out and I literally had the worst anxiety. I was so anxious going to my shifts. I would literally throw up in my car. That's how anxious I was. I couldn't eat breakfast. I felt very unsupported on the unit. I felt like the training wasn't adequate for someone starting out as a new grad in labor and delivery. And people don't realize about labor and delivery, you're not just helping with the delivery of the baby. You're also going into the OR. You're dealing with patients that have chronic conditions and acute emergencies, and sometimes patients that should be in an ICU. You're transferring them to the ICU sometimes. It's not just rocking babies is what I'm trying to say. So starting out in that kind of environment as a new grad, it wasn't for me. So I was at the end of my orientation and I was like, listen, I don't feel comfortable being on my own. So it was disappointing that I walked away from that job, but it led me to something so much better, and I realized, sometimes what we thought we were meant to be doing isn't, what was right for us at the time, maybe, or maybe if I were to do it in the future, I would be better at it, especially now with my experience. So then after that job, I ended up going to one of the biggest hospitals in our town, in Tampa, and I worked on their high-risk OB unit. So I got to do some of my nursing skills that I've learned in labor and delivery by going on to the antepartum and postpartum unit. So I still had all my pregnant patients. I got to do fetal monitoring, and I loved it because with antepartum and postpartum, things are a little more stable. Not always, because it is a high-risk OB unit. So we are, sometimes dealing with patients that are very, very sick. So that can be stressful. But then we also have those cases where, an antepartum patient, sometimes they're just there because they have, diabetes that needs to be monitored, or maybe they have twins that are higher risk, so then they need to be monitored multiple times a day. So it's and they'll sleep all night. So that was nice. But no, it really taught me a lot working on that unit. I did work there for almost 3 years on night shift. But eventually I started to get burnt out. So that leads me to what I'm doing now, which I was actually applying for this job for a couple of years before I actually got it. But you needed at the time I was applying, I needed more experience in maternal health. So, what was it? It'll be actually a year on August 12th, so in a couple days.
Wow.
So yeah, now I do something with a nonprofit. It's called Nurse Family Partnership, and it's basically a program for new moms who are pregnant with their first baby. So they have to be still pregnant when we enroll them in our program, and then they have to be living in the county. So Hillsborough County is where we live. I live in Pasco, but the patients we serve, they live in Hillsborough. And so we just provide education to them about what to expect during their pregnancies. We're just kind of an extra support person. And a lot of these moms, they are young, lower income. So when we get our referrals, it's usually from like clinics that are for patients that have like Medicaid or WIC offices. So that is like the main, we call them clients actually. We don't we call them our clients.
Sure.
So our clients are, now I'm losing my train of thought. Oh my gosh.
They're young, low income,
Yes.
typically referred from Medicaid and WIC.
Yes.
And they're first-time moms. They're
Yes.
pregnant when they come see you, and you're giving them new resources.
Yeah, so we provide them with resources.
No.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Mom, where's the stick?
Keep going.
Okay. So yeah, we provide them with resources in the community. We also just help them get prepped. So like, for example, one of the clients I see next week, I'll be bringing her a car seat and we'll be going over car seat education. So I bring my little baby doll and we go over all the things. We go over the car seat. We go over swaddling, diaper changing. And then we don't always just talk about the baby stuff. We, like a lot of my clients, we sit down and we just talk about what's going on in their life. So if they're having relationship issues, we can talk about that. If they're just torn on what they want to do next in their life after the baby, like career-wise, we can help with that.
Nice.
I help my clients with their resumes,
Nice.
finding jobs. And then I also have started, like I made a little list of mental health related crafts that I'm going to do with them. So
I love that.
So at the beginning of the year, I actually sat down and made vision boards with my clients, and it just gave us it gave them an opportunity to share like their goals in a kind of like an informal setting. So we're not just sitting there going over like preeclampsia or
Right.
pregnancy danger signs,
Yes.
or baby milestones. But so yeah, once the baby is here, we just support them postpartum as well up until, I didn't get to say this earlier, but we stay with that family up until the baby is 2 years old.
Oh, that's so amazing.
Yes. So, and we're able to visit them at their home, or, if they don't feel comfortable with that, then we can meet them at the park or Starbucks, McDonald's, like wherever they want, as long as it's, in the county that we're serving. And we help with a lot of different items as well. So like diapers, wipes, and not everyone needs that support. We do have some clients who they just enjoy getting the education and having someone to talk to, because no matter I do harp on things like, being a young mom is hard, but I think being a mom in general is hard no matter what
100%.
what age you are, how much money you make, no matter what, it's hard. And so I have some clients who are, more stable as far as their finances, career, their relationships, family, all of that, but they still are very engaged in the program because they just, they're starting out as a new parent and they don't know what it's like to be a parent. So then to have a nurse that comes and visits them every other week, they get that education and support. And so I think it's awesome. And we also do, it's called the Ages and Stages questionnaire. So we do it at 4 months old, 6 months old, 10 months old. And then we are able to make referrals to Early Steps or any kind of other agency that may help with delays with the baby, or if they fall under a certain number and they're not quite at that point where we would refer them, we just provide them with activities they can do with the child and reassess in a couple of months, pretty much. So it really helps because and I also love it because my son, he is on the spectrum, which so and early intervention is key. I've had firsthand experience with, Early Steps and early intervention and how successful that is for the children that, need that support.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so what I'm hearing is just yes, you can have the slime.
funny.
Here's the one that you mixed that you should not have mixed, but it's okay.
No, I want the brush.
I don't have. You want this one?
No.
You want this one?
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but it's okay. Sure. Here you go. So, what I hear is a lot of all of the advocacy for young moms, and in so many different creative ways. Because I'm pretty sure you probably came up. I'm thinking you came up with the idea of doing the vision board. That's not necessarily in the package.
Yeah, no, this is not, like, we kind of, and it's cool because we do have certain, like, checkpoints that we have to do. Like, we do an anxiety screening twice during the pregnancy. And we also do it a few times postpartum. But we essentially come up with our own kind of education plan for the client, which is, like, what makes it so fun.
Yeah.
Because it's unique to whatever they need. And I always tell them when I'm enrolling them in the program that this program is for you. It's voluntary.
Okay.
So no one's forcing them to be in it. So we want to make sure we are able to keep them engaged in the program by making sure what we're going over is, pertains to what they need and where they are. So, like, if I have a teen client, we might be going over things like budgeting and housing options and all of that, compared to someone who is older and just may need to know more about, like, what's going on in their pregnancy as far as, like, a complication.
Sure.
So, like, it's really just based off what they need, and that's what makes it so amazing.
Yeah.
So,
and it's, as a mom, but, like, I was older. I think I was 33 when I was pregnant with my firstborn. And it was very scary. And I was in California at the time, and I was living with family. And it was the middle of the night. This is like late California, which means it's very late in Florida. We're 3 hours later.
Yeah.
And I remember one night calling my best friend and saying, is this pain that I'm feeling normal? And so, like, as a new mom, you're questioning everything.
Yes.
Sometimes you can just be so hyper vigilant and, like, you sneeze. Oh my gosh, did my baby just get sick? Because I sneeze,
Yeah.
So there's so many things. And she told me, after I listed, like, all these symptoms, because I didn't want to be that woman who was going to the hospital for everything, but I also wanted to go to the hospital if I needed to. And so I called her. I woke her up middle of the night. Thank you, Michelle, for answering. And she told me to go to the hospital. And so I was living with my cousins, and none of them were home. Like, none of them were even in the state. My aunt, who lives in Thailand, she likes to be called Grandma. So I call her Auntie Grandma Pie. So she happened to be in the country, and so she took me to the hospital, and I was 19 weeks pregnant. When they did an ultrasound, they couldn't see my appendix.
Oh, wow.
And I knew that if the pain I was experiencing was because I had appendicitis, I was just going to have to die, because I wasn't going to have a procedure that could risk my baby's birth, because he would not have been viable at the time, and I would have lost him. And luckily it wasn't that.
Yeah, that's scary.
But it was so scary, and I was just like, no, I'm going to be a mom. And he, to me, was a miracle. I didn't even know I could get pregnant. That's a whole nother thing. But my point is, it's scary.
Yes.
Whether you have a partner that's beside you or not, or if you have your mom with you or not, it's very scary, and you don't know what's going on. And so this program sounds so amazing, and I do want to highlight it. I want to provide information, so when I post this podcast, that I'm going to list the name of it. And so tell us again the name of this nonprofit.
So, yeah, I work under a nonprofit, so they help, like, fund the program and all of that. But the program that is around, it's nationwide? It's throughout the United States.
Okay.
It's called Nurse Family Partnership. So not all counties have them, but a lot of states do. Our main headquarters is in Colorado, so I'm pretty sure that's probably where it's the most popular. But we have several counties in Florida that offer the program. For our program in Hillsborough County, our only criteria is, you have to live in Hillsborough. You have to be pregnant for the a first-time mom, pretty much. So it's okay if you've had like a miscarriage or a stillborn, as long as like this will be the first pregnancy that
successful pregnancy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe cut that out. I don't know. I feel like that was so unorganized.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
This is
yeah.
Okay. So then, how can someone in Hillsborough County? I see it. How can someone in Hillsborough County find this group and/or find you? Like, can people ask for you specifically? How's your caseload?
Unfortunately, my caseload is now full. I have 25 clients.
Wow.
So if it were a few months ago, I would say yes, I have some open spots in my caseload, but I don't at this time. But we graduate, the clients once their baby turns 2, so obviously that will change soon.
Sure.
But if someone is interested in nurse family partnership and getting the support our program offers, you could actually just go onto the nurse family partnership website, just search nurse family partnership onto Google, whatever, and it should come up, and you can search. They recently made some changes, so now our company, like, Changeant is what it's called. So it might be, so they changed the website, so it's Changeant, CHANGENT.org, and then maybe we'll go ahead and click on it just to see. I know they made some changes, so I want to make sure I'm giving the right information.
So I just clicked on the website. New name, same commitment. Change It is the new name for the national organization supporting nurse family partnership and child first. Okay, so
then if you're interested, then you can go maybe to For Families.
Okay, so up at the top of the website here,
you find services.
There's find services up to the left, careers, partner portal. So if the things that Morgan is saying like interest you, even like career-wise, check it out. And in the white banner, it says who we are, what we do, why it works, get involved, and for families. Which one do you want me to
maybe click For Families?
Okay, so I'm clicking For Families.
All right, and we'll scroll down, and then we see here Nurse Family Partnership. So you can hit Learn More, and we can go back to the qualifications because I want to say to be in the program, it is kind of different by every county. So I know for my county in Hillsborough, you just have to be still pregnant, a first-time mom, and right now we don't have really an income criteria, so you can have any income that doesn't affect whether you can be in the program. And then obviously living in Hillsborough County. Okay. So that's pretty much all the things that you need to be eligible for Nurse Family Partnership in Hillsborough.
That's beautiful. So I want to just say thank you so much for turning what was like a sad a sad thing into a beautiful thing where you got involved. You knew exactly what you wanted. You didn't take no for an answer.
Yeah, no, I did not. I was very persistent. I probably bugged the recruiter with my emails every week, but I and eventually with this job I have now, I had to apply several times before I got it. I applied at least 3 times, and then it's funny because me and Melinda, we were talking about how when I was first looking at the job with Nurse Family Partnership, me and my mom had talked about it, and she's like, oh, this would be perfect for you. And we just were talking about how amazing it would be because it is flexible as far as like if you're even looking to be in the nurse role for a Nurse Family Partnership. So it's flexible. It is Monday through Friday, and it's a lot better than night shift. And yes, it can be stressful, but it's not the same stress that it is in a hospital setting at the bedside. So it's a huge change. And even when I've seen like a couple of my old coworkers, they're like, wow, you're like, you just look happier. So I feel like that says a lot. So if anything too, if you are a nurse listening to this, if you are feeling burnt out and tired of, your job in the hospital or wherever you are in nursing, then leave, because there's always going to be a different job. And I'm being biased, but look into community health options. It is, yes, it can, like I said, it can be stressful, but it's a different kind of stress. And I just feel like being able to also see the clients from start to finish, like throughout those two and a half years pretty much, because we enroll them while they're pregnant. So we're with them a long time. And, when you're in the hospital with them, you just discharge them and only see them for a short time. So it just really, I feel like the work is just more meaningful for me. And just to see that whole, the whole thing is amazing.
So close to us, we're basically in the Bay Area. So I just looked up locations and I see Hillsborough County, I see Orange County, so that's the Orlando area. And then also there's Pinellas County. Their office in Pinellas is Largo, so off of Ulmerton Road. So please check it out. It doesn't have to be for you. It could be for a friend. It could be for a neighbor. It could be for someone you meet in the grocery store where you happen to just see them crying into their grocery cart and they're pregnant, and you can just tell them, go, there's this podcast. I'm going to send you the link. And send them Morgan's way, even though her caseload is full. But, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how blessed those women are to be in your care. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's just so amazing to see like some of the clients where they were when I enrolled them, like, last year to now, seeing how far they've come and grow into this amazing mom. And, sometimes, I've had a client share with me that, should I stop talking?
No, keep going.
I had a client share with me that I was the only one who they felt like was supporting them during their pregnancy. So it just meant a lot to me that I was really making such a difference in their life, knowing that they didn't really have anyone else in their life that they can, be excited about the pregnancy with. And so, and then to see how far she's come now and how amazing. And, every time I see her, she's just so excited about, the new milestones the baby's meeting. And it just, it really just makes it all worth it. Like, it's the best job ever. So
that's amazing. Okay, well, again, I'm going to be providing, links or some information when I post about this podcast. But why don't we switch gears? Yes. So we're going to get together once a month for sure. Yeah. So this is August.
No, this was fun. I hope I did okay. No, this is my first podcast, so I'm a little rusty, but I'll get there. I'll get better.
You're brilliant. I love it. And so we'll meet again in September, but we're still here. It's still recording. Yeah. The kids aren't screaming. They have interrupted. My phone has been it's not even my phone. I turned my ringer off, but my computer's dinging. So it is what it is, but we're not apologizing. We're just here. We're present. And
what is it? Unapologetically us.
There you go. Yes.
So
last one.
If you don't like it, then go ahead and I'm not gonna say it.
Press pause. Delete. Unfollow.
Yeah, no.
No.
Okay, just edit that out.
Push through. Put your comments in.
Yeah. Give us
feedback. Yeah. Tell us what you want us to talk about. Tell us some topics that you want us to talk about. So I know one of the things that is something that I want to discuss on the podcast, not necessarily this moment. I'm just going to say the word, though, miscarriage, because I've had a miscarriage, and it was extremely painful. and physically impossible. Like I was in so much pain that I passed out kind of pain, and the doctors did not inform me or tell me that, you know, in the realm of possibilities. It was also obviously very emotionally painful, and you know, it's tragic. So we want to touch on even tough topics and some fun topics, but we are also women who've lost our moms. And so we are right now like motherless mothers.
Yes.
And I know that we have people in our lives, like you've got your aunt or aunts.
Yeah.
You've got women, I'm sure, who are very supportive, but it's not your mom. And your mom was so beautiful.
Yeah,
she was a literal angel. Did y'all see the movie? Oh, that movie was so painful. The soundtrack is so good. City of Angels. So it's oh my gosh, Meg Ryan and Nicolas Cage. Oh, it's so painful and it's so beautiful. So he was an angel and he came down. Basically, he had to literally fall. But so if there was an angel that became a human, it was your mom. And she lived next door, and she would come over. She would have Corbin with her, and they'd knock on the door and basically say, could Kalel come over and play? She was a hairdresser. She literally, I have pictures and videos of her cutting Kalel's hair in her living room, and she would bring out blankets into the front yard and, you know, set up like these poster board forts, and there'd be dinosaurs, and there'd be snacks, and there'd be water, and we did what's the thing at the end of the year? New Year's Eve. We did fireworks together.
Sparklers. Yeah.
And,
you know.
And she opened up her heart and her home in her front yard, and she made me get out of my comfort zone of, you know, having, you know, being in a dark house. And she was just lovely and beautiful, and it's different, you know, for me too, but obviously more. Just like if I were to edit, I would edit that out because that was a stupid thing to say.
No, but I can't imagine, like, you know, we used to live in the same neighborhood, and then my mom, you know, lived in another house right next to Melinda. So it was like driving, like I said at the beginning, it was like weird driving through here. Like, so I can't imagine, like, if I still lived here and having to drive through here every day, like, it was hard, you know, when we were still living here after she had passed away. Like, so yeah, no, the neighborhood's not the same, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's, I think, a lot less love, and I am very blessed with some amazing neighbors. Hey neighbors, if you're listening to this, I love you. You're awesome. So, what should we talk about now?
Let's see. Maybe if also we could add in, like, if there's any questions about the program, please feel free to let us know.
Yes. Comment, and I'm going to tag Morgan in this as well. I'll just need your, like, IG stuff so I can tag you there. And so please, like, there's not very many people commenting. Thank you, Michelle.
No, I'll share it too on my Facebook. I'll share the episode.
So yeah, put in your questions and stuff, like specifically about this program, about other things, and we will answer them month to month. So, I did want to ask you, even though I keep saying that we're moving on, but...
Do you have slime?
Yes, sweetie. Pick a color. Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you can use that one.
That's fine. Does that one work? Would you like one more? Here, this is the same kind of color. You can play with this. Okay, so you were talking about flexibility. You said Monday through Friday, but is the flexibility, so I'm right now asking for the nurses who are out there.
Yeah.
Is the flexibility where you get to kind of design your schedule to where you decide which days you see clients, which days you do paperwork or upload stuff into the computer?
Yeah, so pretty much the flexibility is we set our own appointments with the clients. So when they are first enrolled in the program, we like to see them every week for the first 4 weeks, just while we're getting to know them. And then postpartum, we see them the first 6 weeks postpartum, because obviously as a new mom, you have a lot of questions
Yes.
as first 6 weeks, and then we go to every other week after that. So, you know, it can vary. When I had all of my clients delivering at once, I was very busy.
Okay.
But this week I did take some PTO before the summer ends. But yeah, and then also our charting, we're able to do that from home. We just have to go into our office location. I have my own little desk and everything. And when I started on my first day and I saw I had my own desk, I was so excited. It's just a little cubicle, but it's like, I was so excited. I was like,
It's yours.
yeah, it's mine. It's my little space. It's not like if you worked in the hospital, you see like the computer on wheels or whatever. I forget what they even call it, because it's been a year since I worked in the hospital. But like the computer on wheels that we pushed around, and you know, that wasn't any fun and personable. So I actually have like on my desk, I have like I made a vision board with the clients, so I would bring it to each visit and decorate it. So yeah, we do have to go to the office, you know, once a week at least, to turn in our documents and our charting. But it's very flexible. It is a full, 40-hour week, but like I said, we can choose when we do charting. So if I want to chart at night, then I can do that. And then we have like our own cell phone, so we can, text the clients about like confirming visits, and if they have questions, I always tell them, feel free to text me, call me. Obviously my main hours are 8 to 5, so I tell them like if it's at 9 o'clock at night, I'm not going to respond till the next day. So anything emergent, call your OB or just go to the hospital.
Okay, so no one's crossing boundaries. Yeah, no. You get to hold that firm.
Yeah.
Nice, and have your own.
Yep, I put my phone on do not disturb after 5 p.m. So, but yeah, it can be, as a nurse who's very, I'm very empathetic by nature, so it can be sometimes hard to, in any nursing job, sometimes you just feel like you carry it with you home, whatever the situation may be. So it can be challenging at times, but I've, learned to have to set those boundaries for my own mental health, and also, the best interests of the client. So.
Okay. And then the clients can also be married, doesn't have to be.
They could be married, single, divorced, separated, whatever.
Black, white, red, purple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
No discrimination.
Nope.
So if you're looking for a career, if you're looking for to support yourself as a pregnant or soon-to-be pregnant mom, maybe your family is out of state, or you have a friend or know someone, then this program could absolutely be for you. And that's great. So one of the things I think I started to touch on, so it's obvious this is an audio podcast, but I do want to do some video.
Yeah.
And a friend, Bridget, the Phoenix, y'all, I'm going to have her on here as well soon. But she was telling me about a program, and I'm not going to tell you where it is yet. I am going to gatekeep until I go do it first. I don't care. I don't care. But there's this place that we can go to where they have like a studio. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, right?
Oh my gosh.
So I'm not going to say anything more because then people just look it up.
Yeah.
Don't look it up!
Yeah, that'll be fun.
But okay, so what I want to say real quick is Morgan called me, and I feel like it was a week or two ago, and did I answer, or did you wind up...
I think I texted you first.
Yes.
I said, "Oh, hey, I listened to the podcast," and we ended up talking on the phone.
So one of the things that she said, though, was, I've always wanted to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And I have not seen this gorgeous woman in, I feel like it's a year.
Yeah.
Close, about that time. We've seen each other on Facebook, I'm sure. But my point is, it took me stepping out of my comfort zone, sort of kind of like into my comfort zone. Y'all know I like to talk. I have opinions on everything. But me doing this and pushing past the fears, I know it hit a chord with Morgan, and I think it also showed her wait, I could do this too.
Yeah, no, it was actually, I love, talking about things I'm passionate about, and like I said, helping other women or people who are listening to this. Even if you can change one person's life or make a difference, then you've like done something awesome. So so I hope this, even if it reaches one person, I'd be happy. But obviously we hope it reaches more.
For sure.
But yeah, so it's definitely out of my comfort zone. But when she asked me to come on, I was like, well, what the heck, might as well. Like, it'll be fun, and I wanted to catch up anyway. So this is kind of how we did that. But
so I say all that, and we share that because we're inviting you into this space. It doesn't have to be my podcast, right? My show. You might start your own. It was quite simple. I did use ChatGPT to help me.
Oh, I use ChatGPT for everything. So
yeah, so I was like, okay, which one should I use? And the reason I chose Spotify is because it also has an option for video, and we'll be doing that. And I have a cousin who I was talking to recently. There were some things that were obviously, anyway, I sent my cousin a text, right? And my text was very craftily, that word sounds negative, so that's not the word. It was very curated, and like I was very specific, and I used specific language, okay? And in that, when she read it, she was like, I hope y'all can hear me with these kids in the background. I think you and I probably need to have a conversation based on your text. So she called me a couple days later, and she said that she wants to come on my podcast too. And so she lives in another state. I don't know how to do it, but I'm sure ChatGPT is going to help me figure that out too. I don't know, maybe we'll be able to do like a FaceTime video that then gets uploaded, but I'm going to figure that out. So what are some things that you, my audience, want to do that you haven't done yet? Do you want to act? Do you want to take acting classes? Do you want to cook? Do you want to take cooking lessons? I want to do that. Like, I want to go to cooking school just so like I know how to pair, whatever, all the things and what all the substitutes are. And it's not necessarily even to become a chef per se, but I am a foodie. Are you a foodie?
Oh yeah. And
I love food.
What I've been into lately, like talking about just different hobbies, that it doesn't have to be something that we're doing as a career, but I've been enjoying painting lately. Ooh. So it's just something that helps to calm me down at night for anxiety, and just kind of takes your mind off of, whatever was happening during the day. Yeah. So, and another thing that I think would be cool is, you can cut this out if you want. But
she keeps saying that. Yeah, I know. I think I'm going to keep everything.
Yeah, I know, it's okay. But I used to listen to another podcast. They are no longer making podcasts, but they used to interview different professions. And I feel like that's kind of what you did today in a way. I know it was a lot like, maternal focused and, but talking to people with different careers, I feel like that would be cool.
I intend to spotlight a couple people on my program, so I'm going to give some of those shout outs right now. Zane, I'm coming for you. That's my cousin, and she is a world-renowned author, and I will talk about that later. Somebody else, Robbie, I'm coming for you. Robbie Reed. She is making moves. California, Georgia, casting director, and now she's, I have notes for it, but anyway, I'm going to shout out to you, and I love you guys and the moves that you guys are making, and you're raising the ceiling, and you are being in a place that allows other people to come into that space, and I will spotlight who else? Some people who aren't in my family too. So I was thinking it's a totally different spectrum, but Tiffany Chacon is an author, someone I know from church, and she writes, again, it's the opposite. She writes clean romance, and So I will talk about her. But yeah, what are some things that you, again, my audience, are interested in? I love this idea of paint therapy, and gosh, there's so much. So some of the stuff I want to talk about is quantum physics. Oh, do you guys hear the music in the back? I hope I don't get in trouble for having that Disney song. It's the Wild Robot. Ooh, that would have been good if I knew that was going on and I could have spoke like passionately while the music was crescendoing, and that's coming too. This is going to be a much more professional show at some point. There's something called color therapy where they use light to heal people's bodies. That's amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
Science.
Yeah, I think also we talked on the phone about grief.
Yeah.
And then mental health that goes along with that as well. So I feel like a lot of people, and grief doesn't always have to be like, death of, like a death. It can be, a lost relationship. It could be
divorce.
A divorce. Just a friendship that ended.
Yeah.
Or, grief can be many different things, or, loss of a house, or loss of a job. So,
very good points. And actually, I'm going to this is long. It is long, and
we could always do 2 parts. Like, you could break it up or something.
No, and we will. But I kind of want to keep going, and I don't know what time you have to leave.
No, I'm literally, I have nothing
This
to
is
do.
going to be a
Friday,
5-hour podcast.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. So on the grief piece, so I have experienced a lot of personal grief, not just with the loss of my mother, but so many deaths in my family from when I was young that were pivotal people, and also relationships, like you said, friendships, and just even dating. But it shows up and it creeps in so many different ways, and it impacts people differently. Personalities can completely shift when you are dealing with grief. Like, that's crazy and wild. I know for me, when my mom passed a year or so, when she died, I was a new Christian, a few years. And my beliefs have definitely shifted a lot. And so I talk about Christianity, and I believe in God, and I think Jesus is real, and this is there, but I do have some differing opinions about Christianity than I did before. But
I agree with that. So
what I'm talking about though now is like, so what I say may be familiar or unfamiliar or weird or not weird, but when my mom died, I was 25. She died a month after my 25th birthday. And I thought 2 things. Based on the church that I was going to at the time, was saying is ultimately, like, if you were not a baptized disciple of Jesus / Christian /
Corbin, be quiet.
Whatever, you were going to hell. Okay. And then if you were a believer, and however each church defines it, some you don't have to be baptized, some you pray the name Jesus into your heart. There's all kinds of stuff. Just 1 second. Hey, Kalel, sweetie.
Yes.
Will you please just keep it down just a little bit?
Corbin, you gotta be quiet too, okay?
So she was either in hell or she was in heaven, right? So those were my only 2 things. And if she were in hell, I thought about the scripture in the New Testament that where the rich guy, right? So there was Lazarus and there was a rich guy, and the rich guy was in hell, and he was asking, and I think it was Lazarus, hey, will you, he's like, can you stick your pinky into the water over here? And they're like, no, I can't cross over. Okay. Well, my family is still on earth. Will you please go to them? And will you save them? Will you help them? Will you, convert them? Will you make sure that they get right with God so they don't wind up in hell? And so I had that in my my brain. Like, so if my mom is in hell, she wants me to maintain my belief, my salvation. Again, if you believe this, if you are on that that line of religion or whatever, and she probably also wants me to convert my dad. So speaking of hell, I was kind of hell-bent on doing that. I ain't converting that man. You're welcome, Daddy. Anyway, so I was okay. Like, I was able to survive life as a woman who's been told people are going to hell, right? I was able to survive not having my mom, even if she were in hell, because she would be like pushing me on, right? And she would be wanting me to go to heaven. And then the other piece is God is love, and God is grace, and God is beauty, and God loves my mom, and she's in heaven, you know, she's with her creator, maker, and she's rooting for me, and she's wanting me to go to heaven, and she's also still wanting me to convert my dad, which I know is an impossible task, and it's not even a desire that I have anymore, because I'm in a different place. But so I was okay, right? You know, as okay as you can be with the loss of a parent. And I was, quote, strong, you know, and I cried and I missed her. But about a year later, it all came crashing down, and I was angry, and I wasn't expecting it, even though they talk about like the stages of grief. I was not expecting it, and I lashed out against my own self and made moves that were definitely not, you know, in line with what God wanted for me. And he made that very clear by not even allowing me to step out the way that I was trying to, like rejection after rejection. It was like, okay, God, you're not even going to let me? You're not even going to let me throw my life away? I'm committed to you. But I say that because grief comes at us in so many different facets, and sometimes it's anger, and sometimes it's
I did this with this.
It looks like a balloon. That's cool. And so sometimes it comes at us like we're laughing and we're enjoying something, and then we feel guilty because how can we be happy while dealing with this loss, while dealing with someone who's not here? You know, there's like survivor's remorse and guilt. So for relationships, something that I want to share is there was a guy that I liked, and I was sad when things didn't work out, and I remember crying every day, like I was waking up crying. And then there was one day that I didn't, and I noticed, you know, and it was just like a very happy day for me to not wake up crying. And that's how I knew like I was on the mend. Yeah. And so maybe some of you out there are still crying, or maybe today was the first time you didn't wake up crying or didn't cry in the shower, you know? So.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate to that. You know, just losing something, whatever that may be, even if it's not the loss of, you know, or a death, even if it's not a death, just, you know, feeling like, oh my gosh, like this is, you know, you go through those stages of grief just like you would with a death. And also knowing too that the stages of grief, they're not linear, so you don't just go through them and then it's done. Right. Like you don't just I think I should know the stages by memory since I'm a nurse, but I think the last one is like acceptance, I want to say. Yeah. So, you know, you can accept it one day, but then maybe the next week you're feeling angry, and, you know, that's okay. But then one day maybe, like for me, when my mom first passed away, it was mostly anger that I felt. But now today, it'll be almost 2 years since, you know, she went into the hospital and experienced what she did. And now I lost my train of thought.
Grief, stages of grief.
Stages of grief. And, okay. Yeah. No, I just completely forgot.
No, we can pause.
Okay. No, it's okay. I think, forgot what I was going to say.
First you were anger,
and then, so now, you know, almost 2 years later, it's more so like acceptance. And I feel the same way like with my dad. For him, it's been longer since I lost him. It's been 7 years, but you know, I have more days where I accept it than I'm like angry about the situation. So
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing
yeah.
that. And I think I am going to sign us off, and then we can connect off the recording, and because we're gonna want them wanting more if we have it too long. So whether you did this all in one shot, you know, on the way to work or something like that, or you took us in chunks, thank you so much for getting to this point with us. And we are not here to be perfect, but we are here to be present, to speak, to be heard, to heal not only ourselves, but just maybe we're going to set somebody else free and help them along their journey, their path towards healing. And just want to say, until next time, we remain unapologetically yours. Thank you. Bye.